Welcome back to my channel, friends. I'm not calling it fall, but I am saying that the kids are back in school, so there is a change of season happening on the streets. Therefore, I thought I would pull out some fun, warm, cozy colors to match the weather outside. So these are the colors I pulled out today. I'm going to do just a little bit of textures with this first print. I've got a piece of plastic that I had saved. It has a really cool texture on the bottom. I also have a clay texture that I wanted to try out. It has like a wood grain look to it, and it has more of like these thin lines. So I thought that would be kind of neat to add this texture. And then I also have it's like a piece of fabric that looks like it's woven, and I just cut it down from a roll that I have, and I was able to use this as an impression on my gel plate. Kind of looks like a woven basket. I like that it's flexible because I can just bend it and get a little bit of texture in some areas, but not cover everywhere. I have a fabric paint. It's called Goldmine, and it says it's flexible, but I just wanted to use it on my gel plate because I don't really use fabric paint, but I got it on a good deal, so I thought I would see how it works on the gel plate. It does say it takes a while to dry. I have this is the piece of plastic that I had saved. It actually had fruit in it. I just thought the bottom of it looked like a Lego or something. So I thought I would try this out. Now, because I'm doing this over the gold, it was hard for me to tell if there was any impression until I got to the bottom. And in that area, I was able to see some of the dots up here. I let that layer dry, and it did take a little while with that gold. Probably took about 15 minutes to dry with a fan on it. Then I brought in some nice, fun, warm colors. This is a stencil from PM Artist Studio designed by Christy Hartman. It's called Cacti. I love this stencil. It has such interesting design patterns in it. It's supposed to be the floral part of a cactus and also the spiky parts on the bottom there. But I just think this design is just so unique, and I love how it looks on the tissue paper that I pulled away some of that paint. And then I have a lot of the paint still left over. I did let that dry. And then I brought in these nice and warm, cozy colors. This paper that I'm using today is the 32-pound Hammer Mill bright white copy paper. And this print, it turned out really neat. I love the variation of the colors and just all the different textures that I was able to get in this one print. I loved it. And I loved the start of these colors, bringing in some of that gold in the background there, and then the kind of neutral tones. For the next print, I decided to use this. It looks like kind of like a winter tree because it looks like a bunch of sticks. So I thought instead of brayering my paint over the top of this, I would try using these little makeup sponges. I just put 2 colors of brown on my brayer off sheet, and then I'm just gonna take my bigger sponge and then just kind of dab it in the paint and pounce it on my jelly plate in between these little stick areas. And then I'll start mixing the 2 colors and just kind of filling in anywhere that there's some stick and jelly plate showing. And once I have the entire background covered, then I can remove my stencil. I do clean my stencil with a baby wipe before I put it away because once that paint dries, it's a lot harder to get off. So this is a stencil I got from Dollar Tree last year. It was in the fall section, and I liked that it had these little maple leaves and some little, I don't know, I don't think they're oak leaves, but I guess they could be like oak leaves. So I'm using this stencil because of the size of the leaves. I wanted it to look like there were a bunch of leaves behind all of these sticks, and that way it would look kind of more like trees. So I'm just using some different perfect pearl colors. I've got a gold, a light gold, and a kind of like an orange bronzy color, and then or copper. And then I have a green apple color, and I think the green apple kind of really makes these colors stand out a little bit more because, you know, it's not quite fall, but it's, you know, maybe going to start turning colors soon. And then here we have some light blue and a light green color. And I'm just kind of making an impression of sky and kind of like grass or forest background to kind of ground these leaves and the sticks. I let this print dry for about 15 minutes. And you want to make sure you let the paint dry when you have a perfect pearl or any kind of a powdery pigment, because you want to make sure it sticks to the pigment enough to pull it off of the plate. And I think that turned out really fun, really cool. I love the colors and how it shines. I wanted to do another one with some of my pearl powders. I have this stencil that I got from Hobby Lobby. And there's this cute little, it says from the farm, local, and has a little pig on it. But you want to make sure if you're doing words, you flip your stencil over so that it's backwards. And then I just have some washi tape I'm going to use to cover up these openings on the side, just so I stay inside my circle. Powders can get quite messy. They'll go all over the place. To start with, I'm just using the white perfect pearl color. And I'm just going to use this one color for this entire little circle design. There's a lot of loose powder on top, so I did take a microfiber cloth and removed a lot of that extra powder. The stencil also has this cute little windmill type thing, and I just used the part that looks like the spokes, and I put that right behind this circle design, taped it off, and then I'm going to use some gold, yellow, or the gold, the light gold, and the orange copper color in an ombre to make it look like the sun is shining behind it. I think that's going to look really nice once I pull this print. I also have this stencil of some pumpkins, and I've got 6 different layers that it comes with. I always start when I'm doing it on the jelly plate with the pearls or any kind of powders. I start with the last image or the last stencil, and this is basically just the outline stencil, so I'll start there and I will work my way backwards. I'm using these same 3 colors, and I do pull in the green and the perfect pearl white color. This way I can give each of the pumpkins a little bit of personality. What's neat about these stencils is it kind of highlights different areas, and so you can use colors that kind of go with whatever the area is that you're coloring in. This one felt like it was highlights, so I used the perfect pearl white color. And for each pumpkin, I'm giving them a little bit of variation of the pearl colors. This one has some of the gold and the copper. The second one has a little copper and the light gold. Then I started with some green for this bigger pumpkin in the back here. And I'm going to use this green and mix it with some oranges to create almost like some brown colors that will look pretty nice. Like this pumpkin is not quite ready yet because it's not quite fall, but it's almost there. I think the pumpkins looked super cute. I really love the ones that had the green in it. I think that they just had a little more life to them and they looked a little more interesting. I used the same colors, the kind of reddish purple color and the blue navy. I wanted a darker color to pull these up because the perfect pearls really pop off of a dark background. And I really love how this looks. The colors really do stand out from this background. And I love it how it looks like a sun shining through the little sign there. And then of course the pumpkins with the green and all the different colors of orange and yellow. I did not clean off my plate, and then I went in with another stencil. This one is by Eddie Makes Art, also sold at PM Artist Studio. This stencil is called Vintage Floor Tiles. This is style 1 in the 5x7 size. I have some of the nice light blue color, some of the navy blue, and that purpley pink color, and just kind of blending them together, not perfectly, but getting a little bit of purples in there when I mix these colors together. I used a tissue paper to remove some of the paint, but I didn't want to remove all of it. Then I removed the stencil and let it dry, and I have this fun little sponge that has a really cool texture on it. So I thought as another textural point I can do some yellow, orange, and kind of a brighter orange or maybe darker orange to bring in some color in the background. I like these colors because they contrast the colors I have in the foreground, and they still bring in some of those nice warm cozy colors. This is some drywall tape that I had taped to a piece of cardboard. After that dried, I added in some more of that gold. It's the fabric gold. I like that the gold has some kind of chunkiness to it. It's not like a solid looking gold. It has almost like glitter pieces that you can see, and it really looks nice when it catches the light. You can see the pumpkins in the foreground of this print because it's kind of like a ghost print. Like I said, I didn't clean my gel plate. I really like how it kind of it's a little mystical. If you tilt it, you can kind of see it looks like there's something there, but then they disappear. So I think it's really fun how that one turned out as like a ghost print with a fun background to it. So these are the 4 prints that I made today. Again, bringing in some nice warm cozy colors and getting ready for my favorite season, fall, and then Halloween. So this is just getting started, and I want to know in the comments how many of you guys like crafting for fall. Do you prefer fall, like oranges, yellows, classic, or do you prefer like the more modern colors, like the greens and the blues and kind of like the whites? Just curious. All right, I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and happy crafting, y'all.